Arktovsky Station. The anchor struck in the seabed, but it wasn't holding well. "Let's hope there's no wind," said Rado. I'd been waiting for the stop. My dad and I had made a deal. If he actually decided to go on his cruise, he was supposed to leave me a message here. I was excited, like a little girl waiting for her birthday present. We radioed the station and got invited to take a shower and have dinner with them. "Who wants to go first?" asked Rado. "Me," said everybody. We looked at one another and started to laugh. "Let's play rock, paper, scissors," proposed Matt. "Or draw straws." "I'm not playing rock, paper, scissors with you," said Marge, who'd lost to him 5 times in the past 2 days. We agreed that straws were a fair option. I drew a long one. I jumped around excitedly and ran to grab my stuff. Dinner at Arktovsky. We landed and were greeted by a team of Polish scientists. They were a lovely bunch. I immediately felt at ease around them. They were so different from the people I had to interact with on a daily basis. When I came out of the shower, dinner was ready, pierogi stuffed with cabbage and mushrooms. Someone had procured a bottle of vodka. "You seem quite at home here," I noticed. "It's mostly counting penguins, observing birds, researching how fast the ice is melting, but yeah, you get used to it." One of the scientists laughed. "It can take a while." I listened to his story. "Last time I was here, I spent a year Skyping with friends and living on Facebook." He scratched his beard. "It was almost like back home. We got our internet by satellite, and when strong winds displaced the dish, we went out to fix it. It was negative 50 degrees Celsius, roughly negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit, that night. I actually risked my life so that I could live in front of a screen," he shrugged. "After that, I decided to disconnect myself from it all, and actually looked around for the first time. And now I'm back for another year." "You're Henrietta Taylor, aren't you?" said the doctor. I nodded. "You were described quite accurately, although I expected you to be shorter. I've got something for you." He handed me a parcel wrapped in red paper. "What is it?" Back at the boat. "Stay where you are," Rado shouted over the radio to the second group visiting Arktovsky Station. "We'll see you in the morning." The wind reached 45 knots, and even with the anchor we were pushed about 50 yards toward shore. I started the engine to keep us from crashing into the island. The moment I poked my head out of the pilot house, my hood and face were covered in ice. "It's not that bad," said Rado, and then winced. "It'll be better in the morning." When the wind reached 50 knots, the wind gauge froze. It was a long night. The wind howled, the snow blinded us, and Arktovsky Station lights were barely visible in the blizzard. "We have a visitor," Chris yelled, and we rushed, poles in hand, to deal with another stray growler. "Never again," I said, and Chris shook his head. "You're getting old, Taylor." Happy birthday to you. The parcel from my father turned out to be a small box. I opened it. Inside, there were keys. "It's called Sea Fever, and it's moored in St. Catherine's docks. Love, Dad." Overwhelmed by emotions, I laughed and I cried, and it felt good. Meanwhile, on a cruise ship. Happy birthday, Henrietta. I realized that I left my camera in Hope's cabin. Maybe that was for the best. I scribbled a note to my daughter, read it, scrapped it, and wrote it again. Then I packed her a present and joined the party heading to Arktovsky Station. Their doctor looked trustworthy, so I described how Henrietta looked and asked him to pass the package to her. "Not a problem," he promised. What a nice chap. Good. I couldn't wait to see her in Ushuaia and ask how she liked the present. Snow, ice, whiteness was so overwhelming that even penguins seemed colorful to me, like birds of paradise. The waters were calm, and we're stopping 2-3 times a day for short zodiac excursions. "We're going for a swim," said one of the guides. I couldn't believe my ears. We stopped inside the flooded caldera of a long-extinct volcano. The sunshine shimmered magically across the water. No, just no. While the brave ones squealed and shouted when their privates connected with the freezing water, I went for a walk. It was an eerie place, scattered with rusty, collapsing structures and inhabited only by seals and penguins. Nothing seemed important anymore, and I accepted the thought. Only 100 people were allowed to visit any given place during one day, so more often than not, I stayed on the ship and listened to the lectures instead. More birds, this time gulls and blue-eyed shags. "Yeah, I met one of them last night," joked a man I didn't know. There were some scientific stations there, and as far as I noticed, most of them double-time for souvenir shops. "There!" someone screamed, and my old instincts kicked in. But it was just a whale. Majestic, huge, mostly harmless. I relaxed and watched it wave its tail at us. I've never seen so many whales before. Orcas, minks, humpbacks, you name them. And I probably never will. Crab-eater seal? That was a new one. How many types of seals were there? There was a long way from the Antarctic Peninsula to Terra del Fuego, the infamous Drake Passage. Plans for the following days included lectures, video screenings, and seasicknesses. "I believe this is yours." "Thanks again," said Hope, handing my camera back to me. "You're a treasure." "You can keep the camera," I said. "I don't need it anymore." "Thanks, but everything is going according to plan," she replied, "and soon I'll be too busy to play photographer." She had plans, and she had the strength to see them through. Maybe it was time to make plans of my own. "Have a good marriage," I smiled sincerely. "He'd better appreciate what he has." "I don't have much choice in the matter," she replied coolly, and with a wave, she left. Absent-mindedly, I turned on the camera, and a picture sprung to life. Black penguins against a white Antarctic backdrop, and there were more. I started browsing through them. I was thrilled. The pictures were good. Very good, in fact. There were some technical imperfections, but they only enhanced the final effect, making them less cliché, less cold, and less distance. Should I tell her that I've seen them? There were only shots of animals, but it was the implied presence of a human off-screen that made the pictures great. Should I interfere? She must have known what she was doing, returning the camera with the picture still on it. Pictures she'd been taking for the last few days. These pictures are great. I was impressed. Making a scene. "Hope, there you are." I took her by the arm and led her away from her friends. "We need to talk." "Henry," she said, laughing, "you can't just kidnap me in front of my husband." "This is important," I said. "I have a plan." "What is it?" she asked in a hushed voice. "I've seen the pictures you took." I caught her gaze as I said it. There was something in there I couldn't put my finger on. I liked them a lot. "Better than mine," I admitted, fresh and full of character. No response. "You should keep doing it, even when you have kids. You have a talent. Don't waste it," I continued. I couldn't read her face. "You can make a mark." I was grasping at straws. "Leave a lasting impression on the world." I didn't know what else to say. "I don't know, Henry," she said with tears in her eyes. "Don't say such things to me." I pushed the camera into her hands. "Hold on to this. It is a gift from me," I said firmly, "and think about what I've said. Make your own choices. You know what you need. And forgive an old man for speaking out of place." I left before she could answer. I was restless. I couldn't wait for Hope to show up. She left the camera on my doorstep. There was also a note. "Henry, I appreciate your concern, and I know that photography is your life, but I don't have your money, your fame, your contacts, or your talent, and I just can't risk it all to go chasing your dream. My dreams are different. Don't worry. I'll manage. Nadia." What a mess. I'd messed things up with Hope. I was a fool. I turned the camera on. I picked up the camera, opened the lens, and took a selfie. Up the Beagle Channel we cruised, among the mountains, the clouds, and the calm blue water. And then, just like that, we were back. Through the lens I saw no people, no wars, no fashion, just nature. I held my breath and released the shutter. It felt good.